I'm just getting excited now, and I'm like, I gotta be filming this, man. Hey guys, what's up? It's Gary. So, if you're new to the channel, probably everything you've seen so far is just tractor content. I started the channel with this truck. It's a 85 F8000 3208 Cat. And I have one video on this car, which is just my regular daily driver, nothing special. In fact, it's so not special that I'm about to go trade it. If all goes to plan, there will be a different car here, and well, you're probably going to see me driving it in this video. So just to bring you up to speed, this is diesel powered. This has an OM617 naturally aspirated inline 6 diesel, 3 liter, twin overhead cam if you don't know anything about that engine. 97 E300 diesel, Mercedes-Benz. And you know, it's not the greatest condition. It's all one color on this side. It has some rust spots. It has a cable for a secondary hood latch release, and it has an ugly silver door. But it's actually in really, you know, it's got a really decent interior. And it has a very clean underside. No rust under this thing at all. I never was a big fan of the way this car looks. Like I said, it's a naturally aspirated OM617, so it's be a lot of money and a lot of work to actually make it anything special, anything fun, you know, quick or anything like that. This thing not doing it for me. Let's go see if we can trade it for something a bit older and actually in way worse condition. But we'll get to that and figure out why that is when we get it, if we get it. All right, we are in a Mercedes-Benz. It's about a decade and a, well, I don't even know what year it is, to be honest. I forgot to ask. It's about a decade and a half older than the one we just got out of. Some of the gauges work. Actually, they all work, I think. I'm gonna need to get some fuel. So, yeah, you don't know what this is just yet, but it's awesome. It's pretty rough condition, but I think I like it. I actually love it. I don't really have a whole lot to say because I'm kind of like in the moment right now. This is the first, not the first drive, I kind of drove it around the block like 5 or 6 times. Yeah, so when we get back, we'll discuss what the heck is going on here, what the hell this thing is. Sometimes it doesn't have much power. Sometimes it doesn't want to shift very well, but we're going to try and make it an hour back home. I'm just getting excited now, and I'm like, I gotta be filming this, man. I had a little bit of a thing. I was like, man, this thing's really got no power again. Then I kicked it down to gear and brought it into boost, started pulling, and then I put it up into top gear, and it actually had some power. If you get it at the right speed, man, this thing is just sweet, man. I'm gonna put this window up, actually. It's actually kind of chilly out. And the windows work. Some other things don't work, though, like the heater blower motor doesn't work. But man, there's just something about this car. Like my other car was, you know, my other car had a working radio and, you know, things that cars have. A working heater, working radio. This thing doesn't have any of that right now, but it's just so cool. It's like really special. It's a special car. And I'm nervous to like give it too much throttle. See, I get to a point, it's not overheating or anything. I'll drop her down into, there we go. Once she gets on boost though, I'm not getting on it all the way. It actually has really good power. It really does feel good. The brakes are coming back. Like the brakes were pretty shot when I first drove it, or when I first drove it, because it was sitting for like a year. Or at least it was sitting over winter. I think it was sitting for like a year. But I'm heading to my friend's house, who's actually really close to where this guy lives. I'm gonna show him, but damn, this thing is freaking awesome. Even though it's theoretically it's worse than the car I just traded for it, but not really. I mean, this is a sought-after machine. This is like a true classic, mechanically injected OM617. My car was a 606 naturally aspirated. This car's turbo. This car, even though it's in very, yeah, I wouldn't say very rough. It's in rough condition. It's been repainted. And it has some Bondo on it, but it has really a big rust spot right under the back where the K-member goes to. I'm not too concerned, I can fix that. But ultimately, a little bit of money put into this thing, and it will still have a pretty good value. It'll never be worth like what a really nice one's worth, but I don't think I would ever lose money on it, even though I theoretically didn't spend any money. In fact, to fully disclose what the deal was, I just gave him my car and he gave me 200 bucks. I thought that was fair. I wanted a little bit more, but I didn't say I wanted a little bit more. I just right away, I was like, you know what, that's the number he said, so I thought it was fair. He threw in some extra doors, like 4 extra doors, but I didn't bring them with me because we couldn't get the hatch open and we couldn't get them in the back. It was really annoying. The hatch is actually, he gave me an extra hatch, that's actually strapped to the roof. Looking back there now, I'm going, man, I should have just got the doors, but there's a transmission back there too. That's right, he gave me an extra transmission, so just in case this transmission's not happy, I got an extra one. And you know what? I will say, the transmission seems to be okay. It does have a weird, like, kind of flare between like a second and third, where as you're going along it goes to shift to third and it just sort of goes to a neutral, kind of goes, and but like right now it doesn't really seem like it's slipping. It seems like it's locked up and it's pretty good. I'm not sure if it's getting into top gear. If it is, it seems like it would rev out pretty good on the highway. It's definitely got some play in the steering. Why am I showing me? It's definitely got some play in the steering, but I mean, frankly, almost any car from 1984 or whatever year this thing is going to have that. Now, I'm only doing that to show you. That's not how I'm actually having to drive it. Drives really good. Like, it goes, might have some low tires or something, but for the most part, it goes pretty straight. It's actually pretty smooth. It's got a big bang from the rear. I don't know what that is when it hits bumps, kind of bangs in the rear. But like, frankly, I'm a little bit more impressed than I thought it would be on the ride quality. It's actually not bad. If I can address that bang, then we're gonna be good. But it's drivable, and I'm driving it home. So got about an hour drive. It's gonna end up getting dark by the time we get back, but we'll take a look at it when we get over to my friend's house, maybe, or possibly somewhere else. So we'll see you guys then. And there it is. It's kind of a 1,000-footer. Wouldn't want to get too much closer. Yeah, man. So let's take a closer look and see what we got here. Absolutely bloody beautiful.
What's up?
What's going on? What do you think?
What the hell did you do?
Something remarkably smart, actually, if you were to actually think about it. logically. All right, so this is the good side, as you've noticed in that kind of walk-around shot. What we have here is a 1983 Mercedes 300 TD. It is a 3-liter, 5-cylinder, OM617 turbo diesel. The chassis code is a W123, legendary car, one of the most legendary Mercedes chassis ever built. It's actually technically an S123 if it's the Wagon. It's very rough, but these are kind of rare now. I mean, you really don't find these for sale. There's none for sale around. So when I actually put my car up for trade, I didn't actually really say that. I really wasn't feeling my car. It was that W210 was just too pedestrian, too boring, and it didn't even have a turbo, and there was really nothing you could do to make it any quicker or more fun, and that's just not me. So I put my car up for trade on Marketplace, saying I was looking to trade for an older, either VW diesel, Mercedes diesel, old American car, you know, Cadillac, you name it. Didn't have to be diesel. And guy hit me up, and he says, well, he hit me up with a video saying, would you be interested in anything with 2 wheels? Okay, let me see it. It's got an 83 Honda 600R, XL 600R. And my immediate thought was, oh, okay, maybe I could get that, possibly ride it around a little bit, and then see, you know, try to sell it for a couple grand, because I looked into the value, and those old 80s 600Rs are worth about $2,000. Maybe I could sell it and get one of these, or something along these lines. I had been looking at a couple of cars on Marketplace. 300D, same thing, but sedan, not wagon. The wagons are just, you don't really find them. I had looked for wagons years ago, and they were hard to find then for any kind of reasonable money. Usually if you find them, they're really expensive. No, they're nice and expensive, so the two kind of go hand in hand. So I'm thinking about this motorcycle, and then next thing you know, he shows me a picture of this sitting in his yard, and he says, I got this too. So I'm like, oh shoot, that's exactly what I'm trying to get. So I ended up, long story short, which is now kind of a long story already, I went out there about an hour away, and we made the trade. I gave him my car, and in exchange for this, with the transmission, some extra body parts, and also he even $200 he gave me on top of that. So I don't know if it's obvious on video, but this thing has been repainted. Although that aside, the paint is better than it was on my other car. It's, you know, almost all the body panels are about the same color. They are. I mean, they're all the same color. There's no real like extreme fading on the hood or anything like that, like my other car had. But there is a lot of rough parts of the car, like, you know, these headlight things are pretty wasted. The hood latch needs attention, which is why that's like that, and I did not even have the hood all the way shut on the way back, but I'll get to that when I do. And yeah, so those are kind of messed up. It's got the factory alloy bunt wheels. All the trim is with the car. I don't know about all of it. I didn't like really search, but in the back there's trim, and I do believe the trim that is in there is all there for the car. For the sides, I mean. There's obviously Bondo, and on the fender, which is not a big deal, there's Bondo right there. And then on the, obviously the big dents are really the thing that bother me. Like I said, it came with body parts. It came with doors. They're obviously a different color, and I'm just going to try to pop these dents out. I think it's possible. I think I can improve this a lot just by trying to do a little bit of basic driveway body work. Just pop them out and get them to look a little bit better. Taillight is trashed. I did find that you can get those Chinese replacements of those on Amazon. Although I don't really like the idea of having brand new looking taillights on a patinaed out car. but to get used ones is more expensive than to get new ones. So that might just have to be what it is. As you can see, it has the one fog light on that side and the one reverse light on that side, and that brings me to the bumpers. You'll notice that the bumpers are very low profile, and there is it's missing the little rubber bit, but the rubber bit that would be there on the bumper is different if it was there than it would be on the American spec. Look how low profile the bumper is, how short it is. So the American version of these cars had really big bumpers. Another way to know is that it has the really wide, and I'm not one who cares about you seeing my license plate. That doesn't matter to me. The wide piece there. So American bumper has rubber going all the way across, and it has just a little square piece for the plate. And so he told me that according to the VIN, this is a Euro spec car. So yeah, those are the Euro bumpers. What the hell? Wasn't there something else? So it has the Euro bumpers, and it has the European only had the red fog light and single reverse light, whereas the American cars had a bigger bumper with 2 reverse lights and no fog light. Now the only thing is, it is possible that he got that stuff from another car, but I don't think that's the case, judging by the witness mark from the original rubber piece here. Although the fact that it's missing maybe is an indication. I don't know. The reason why I'm not sure if it's a Euro car is because I found out that if the VIN is here, then it's an American spec car. If it's not there and it's only under the hood, then it's a Euro spec car. So I really don't know for sure. I haven't personally checked the VIN yet. Love these door handles. And I love that it's just covered in chrome, which is, I guess, stainless probably. But yeah, like chrome mirrors, chrome all over the place on this thing. It's freaking awesome. I love that. It really is a sign of the era of this car. Like I said, 1983. And you know what? The interior is not bad at all. That was my biggest concern. My biggest concern was that I was going to be getting into a horribly smelly, wasted, ripped up seated interior. And obviously it has this staining right here, whatever that is. Doesn't appear that it's, that's not fixable. But the seat is not ripped. It's soft. It's hard, you obviously can't, you can't really get a true idea by watching a video how good these seats are actually and what kind of good condition they're actually in. Now this obviously has seen better days. That's not in good condition, but these seats are robust. They actually held up really well. The signature giant steering wheel of the old 80s Mercedes, and well, even older than that, but I love the giant steering wheel. Horn only works with the key, but it's a fitting horn. It sounds kind of funny for the car. I believe it has a 4-speed auto. These should have a 4-speed auto. You would think it only has a 3-speed because it only has low, second, and drive. But I do think it's a 4-speed. But it has some sort of issue going on with the way that it's shifting. And I think it's mainly an adjustment issue. The guy was telling me about the different adjustments. And we were sitting there trying to fiddle with it for a while. It has, I think, what, 200, and it indicates that it has 243,000 miles, which seems about right. It unfortunately does not have a tachometer. It has the clock, and I don't think any of these wagons came with a tach. He was saying that only a certain, 1 year came with a tach, or maybe only, I don't know. I think he said only a 300 SD came with a tach, but I've seen them for sale. I've seen the 300Ds with tach. One of the ones I was looking at had a tach. But yeah, I mean, this thing is really in decent shape. I haven't messed with those seats. I don't know what they look like, and I still have all this stuff in here. Gave me an extra grill. I got 2 spares with it. Well, one's not a good tire, but one's a good wheel at least, and extra trans. And I got to figure out what's up with the hatch. We could not get the hatch open. But man, the doors shut better than they shut on my 210. I mean, the 210 isn't... The 210 is kind of, the W210, the car I had before, is kind of the last of the good quality Mercedes. Some even say they were a downfall, and it is definitely, I think it's true that the 210 compared to like the W124 that came before it, and then of course the W123 that came before it, which is what this is, there was a downfall of quality going through those years, but really the 210 was the last of the good Mercedes-Benz. Once they went past that, you know, past the late 90s, that was when they just turned to crap. So let's pop the hood and we'll fire it up. It'll be a sort of a cold start. It's like 45 degrees out, maybe a little colder. And we'll see what she looks like, how she sounds. And there it is. This is what really makes these cars special. The OM617 3-liter, 5-cylinder, indirect injection turbo diesel. These, of course, were obviously available as a non-turbo as well. So it's a 300 TD, which you could get a 300D. The sedan was a 300D, which was also available with a turbo, but it was still called a 300D. The 300 TD is specifically the wagon, and I'm actually really glad to see that it's all complete. As far as I can tell, there's nothing been fiddled with, really. The air cleaner is the main thing that I was looking for. Like, is it just got a pipe with a pod filter? Not cool. Does it have the original air cleaner and all the piping and everything with it? Definitely cool. So, yeah, let's crank it up. Hopefully she fires up nice. It seems to take a while on the glow plugs. Although now that it's been running a while, I'm sure it'll fire up easier than it did the day we drove it. I think the glow plugs might need attention. Not to mention the fuel filters. Yeah, she definitely needs a little bit of attention. The cold start leaves something to be desired there. She takes a bit to get to an idle. Could probably use a valve adjustment too. I don't know. You know, there's no service history or anything, so. But to be honest, it doesn't really smoke that bad. I mean, you know, even right now for being cold, it's not really smoking much. Major exhaust leak under here. Don't know what the warning light is for, but it's got oil. It's got oil pressure. I don't know, sometimes the oil pressure gauge is just all the way max, so maybe that's why that light comes on. Maybe the sending unit's bad. But I made it back and the engine didn't blow, so I'm pretty confident that it's nothing crazy. I wish it had the regular knob style climate control that these also came with, but it's got these and it doesn't work. Awesome too. It's got a sorry, it's a little dark. It's got a manual sunroof, which I've not messed with yet, but this should just twist and the whole thing just slides back. That operates. Windows work. Actually, I haven't tried all of them. I know the front windows work. I don't know, I just love this thing. No radio. We'll have to address that, get new speakers and everything in these. Dash is pretty cracked, so that, you know, that's to be expected for what the condition of the car is in. I mean, it'd be hard pressed to find a lot of 80s, early 80s cars that don't have cracked dash. She certainly has a little bit, you know, it's a little bit of a rough idle. I don't know if, like, it sounds all right, but it's a little bit shaky at idle, and I don't know if that's normal or not for these engines, but it is really smooth on when you rev it up, so. smells so good. She's a little smoky when you're ever, but and it's definitely a loud engine. That clatter is amazing. But yeah, it needs, you know, I need to go through and do a few things. Kind of the first couple things I'm going to address is the hood latch situation. I don't know what the deal is with that. It'll close fine, but getting it open is a real chore. And so I only had it on the catch, the safety catch on the way back. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, of course, just general maintenance like oil change. Probably, it looks like I got a major valve cover leak, so I'm going to end up doing a valve adjustment and replace that valve cover gasket. Or at least check the valves. Maybe they don't need to be adjusted. And I want to try and push these dents out just to try and get an improvement in the appearance. Those are the main things that bother me, are those two dents. So I think the door should be relatively easy. You know, it's not going to look anywhere near perfect, but I think I can improve upon that. We'll get that door, let's see if we can pop that out. That's going to be more difficult because I think there's a lot behind that, like structure-wise, and I might have to pull the fender to try and fix that. But we'll do what we can do. And yeah, in a future video, maybe we'll be working on it and drive it a little bit. So that's going to do it. I don't know if it's a little bit too dark. We're losing daylight here. It's basically really dark. And I don't know what you guys think. I have a feeling a lot of you are like, what the heck is that you just got? That is not right. It's not cool. Maybe some of you understand. I think it's amazing. It's honestly, it's not only amazing to me, and I love it, but it is a highly sought after kind of holy grail version of this car. And just this car in general, the W123 Mercedes-Benz turbo diesel, is a legendary sought after machine. One of the most reliable car ever made, basically. And it's a fun car to drive, even though it's slow. It's slower than my other car. That was the other thing too. So this is a turbo diesel. The other car was naturally aspirated. But this is an ancient, you know, made in the 70s motor, 2 valve per cylinder, 3-liter 5-cylinder. Indirect, well, they're both indirect injection. The other one was also indirect injection. But the other engine was OM617, which is known as the 2JZ of diesel engines in turbo form. And mine was the earlier naturally aspirated version. 134 horsepower, 155 pound-feet of torque. This is a same displacement 3-liter, but it's a 5-cylinder turbo diesel, 123 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. So that extra torque is noticeable. When the turbo spools, it feels stronger than the other car, but the other car off idle feels way stronger than this feels off idle. And overall, the other car is faster, but still not fast. They're both slow cars. But either way, I think this thing's amazing. This is now just an attention-grabbing behemoth on the road. My other car was just lost in a crowd. Nobody could even see it. So I'm happy about that. I hope you could still see me because it's really dark. And I want to say thank you to anybody who's new subscribers that I've been gaining. And thanks for commenting, liking, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment if you like it, comment if you don't. It all helps the channel. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next time.